Hi, I'm Peter Manos, Director of Research for Energy, Utilities, and Smart Grids at ARC Advisory Group. And I'm here with Steve Beamer from Element. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Peter.
So digital transformation obviously is a big value driver, and Element is bringing value in aspects of that to your customers. What would you like the listeners to know about what Element is doing in that whole realm of digital transformation?
So Element's helping our customers connect their data and build data models that they can use over and over again. So you build it once and use it many times, and that really speeds up the scaling and deployment of analytic solutions.
Excellent. In the energy transition, electric utilities and other utilities are a big value driver for other industries and as well for operating their equipment and assets in better and better ways. What are the areas of most demand that you're seeing out there when you're serving the needs that you're fulfilling?
So most of our customers are early in their digital transformation journey, and what we see early on is people want to connect their sensor data with their maintenance and reliability data, and then they want to add in additional pieces of information as they go. So the early use cases tend to be condition monitoring, predictive maintenance, and operations monitoring, and then it builds out from there into more complex use cases, management dashboards, and other things.
And when you're operating a portfolio as an asset owner operator of equipment, what sort of cross equipment, like horizontal, here are all my pumps of this variety, here are all my switchgear and transformers or other assets, rotating equipment. How do they manage the flood of data that they're getting from all these pieces of equipment?
Well, what Element Unify helps our customers do is actually put all that data into a common context. So it's a graph model. So what it allows you to do is you can build the hierarchy that's by equipment class for your engineers, or you can build a hierarchy that's by process flow, by line, by power plant, or any kind of hierarchy you want to build because of the way the system works. And what we help them do is, many assets are built at different times. You build the power plant one is built 20 years ago, another one's built 30 years ago, one's built last year, and you try to bring all those things to a common corporate standard is quite difficult. And
Sure.
everybody operates a little bit differently at every plant. So what we try to do is help people get that onto a common footing so they can build their analytics one time and apply it across the whole organization.
Excellent. Can you elaborate more on how, like Pareto's law shows up in different ways, right? So maybe, 80% of your effort is in 20% of the model builds where the data needs a little extra cleanup or there's some issues, or you have a 5-unit power plant and unit 5 is much newer and different from the four other units in that plant, and you have all these, how do you put all the extra time, human effort in the one-offs when it comes to the datas and the model builds and that sort of thing?
So Unify gives you the ability to reuse a lot of that work. So you end up just mapping the differences at the front end, and the back end you can reuse. So what we see a lot is that we're able to get often 80 to 90% of the data through the software, and then the last 10%, the final hard yards are really done with engineers using P&IDs and things like that, and having to go and find out what is this thing really measuring or what does this thing really do. But we have a lot of tools that help them do that very quickly, like a P&ID reading tool and things like that. So we can quickly get to it. We have fuzzy matching and things like that help the engineers
Sure.
and the subject matter experts match the data together and build that context.
So it's almost like when you're downloading something and it looks like it's going nice and fast, and then that blue line just starts slowing down at the end, and so you're helping to accelerate those last few percentage points that can often be where a lot of frustration builds, right?
Exactly. And when I was a customer, what we found is that this sped us up in an order of magnitude. and we only focused on one thing at a time. So I didn't have to have everything right to get started. I was able to build out what I needed, clean that small part of the data up, and then move on to the next use case where I might have to go clean up some more. So I didn't have to eat the elephant in one bite. I could then go work on what I need to work on, generate value out of it, and then work on the next thing. And the model just continues to build. So I never have to go back and remodel that data again.
Excellent. And do you want to say anything about the different segments and industries and subcategories within the areas that you're serving that are growing or of interest? Or
Well, I think mostly we're focused on industrial data, so it's not specific to one industry. The tool is an open tool that gives people access to the data. And what we do is we sort of build, I like to say we're building the Google map to the data. Where do I park? Where do I get something to eat? Where do I fill up my car? And those kind of things are, we're system agnostic on the front end, and we're system agnostic on the back end. So we're really trying to open up the data to whatever people want to do with it.
Excellent. And in terms of things that the audience might not have expected, or questions you would like them to be asking themselves as they're going forward with new decisions, and where do you see like the next big aha thing, or a recent success that was pleasantly surprising in a way that would be of interest, or something unexpected?
Well, I think in having come here as a customer and now coming as a software supplier, what I've seen that the industry is really starting to grasp the picture that the digital transformation is really about a step change improvement, and not just about the same, incremental improvements that we've been trying to make for the last 20 or 30 years. So I was really excited by some of the presentations I've seen here at ARC about people talking about, I want open standards. I want to be able to share information across silos. And I think it's not new thinking, but I think it's coming more to the forefront, and people are becoming more mature about these things.
Certainly.
And I'd certainly like to see them starting to spend more on it, because what I'm experiencing, I think, is that a lot of people are talking about it, but they're struggling with where do I start and how do I get going.
Excellent. And how can customers most easily contact you? If you want to give your email address and website to go to.
Yeah, our website is www.elementanalytics.com, and my email is steve.beamer, Beamer, @elementanalytics.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your time, and very interesting. And this has been Steve Beamer of Element Analytics with ARC Advisory Group, and thank you for listening.
Thanks, Peter.